What's really unique when I look back kind of at my evolution into this is, again, I started at 16 and I got this obsession with cars, and I always had built cars. Again, there was many years of my life where it was just a hobby. I tried to do the right thing. I went to college, got a degree, had a real job, but everything was still based around cars. Like I would get off 5 o'clock, I'm out of there, straight to the shop. So this is the shop. 2 main buildings, pretty small spaces. Los Angeles real estate's a little bit tough to get, so we do a lot out of a little. This building currently is more painted cars, finished assembly and things like that. We kind of just deal with whatever we have going on. We can kind of shift our focus. But then this side of the shop here is kind of more of the fab side. We have lift with a higher ceiling. Most of our heavier equipment is over here. When I turned this into a business, I was able to take that love and that passion that a lot of people have to chase as a sideline. It worked out in the best for me because I've taken that passion, it's just only grown. So my whole life is cars, building cars, looking at cars, driving cars. So what we do here is literally so important that it encompasses my entire life. So what's really unique about this car is we call it the Duarte Coupe. It was built in 1956 in Southern California. It was put into storage about 1958 as far as I know, and it's never seen the light of day until 2019 when I got it. So it was like a true barn find. So if anybody ever wants to know what an actual legitimate Southern California 50s hot rod is, here it is. One of the neat things that I really like about this car is the engine, because it's got an Oldsmobile engine that actually the numbers check out to be 1958. So again, if it was put into storage in 58 or 60, somewhere in there, if you think about it, this had a brand new crate motor, kind of the same thing people do in hot rodding today, but back then. So literally a brand new Oldsmobile engine was put into this car before it was put into storage. So it's really an amazing timepiece, and I'm pretty excited to be the caretaker of it for its life at this time. This is a 34 Ford 3-window coupe that we're doing for a customer named Darren. And the idea is really a traditional kind of land speed based lakes type car. You know, LaSalle grill and lots of louvers and just pure hot rod. We started with an original 34 frame, but we add a sweep to the front and rebuild the original frame to get it low. Most everything from the front forward, like hood sides, grill shell, and all that we made here from scratch using you know, some of our sheet metal equipment. I think we use a Baileigh power hammer, and we've used our brake and pull max and things like that. So this is a pretty fun example of metal, like metalworking stuff on a vintage vehicle. We chopped it, and again, we're making the roof insert, roll pan. We did the channeling and all of that. So it's just it's been a fun. We love that kind of, you know, traditional type chopping on an original body, plus handmade panels and louvering, all the louver stuff we've done here. Different types of louvers, like the running louvers on the hood sides and the stamp type louvers on the top and the roll pan. You know, we're pretty excited about this car. It's a good looking little car for a traditional hot rod, we think anyway. In recent years, as we do more sheet metal stuff and more metal shaping and things like that, we have to increase the level of our tools. We did a lot of stuff with just English wheels in the past. And then once we stepped up to like a power hammer, that's a whole nother level. Pull max machines are also, takes you to a whole nother level. So once you start to add tools like that, it really changes the whole realm of what you're able to do. So I was kind of involved with Baileigh when they first started really pushing their higher end line of machines like the PH19 and the power hammers and things like that. And Chris Rush was really pivotal in, you know, the development and the creation of some of those machines. Super good guy, and I think he's really done well for pushing Baileigh to the next level. One of the things that Baileigh has done really well, and that's really kind of stood them apart over the years, is they are coming up with metal shaping tools and equipment that are needed and hard to get. I mean, and a lot of their tools are affordable for a DIY guy, but even their bigger tools, like try to find a Yoder or a pull max, an actual pull max. Like those are usually out of the realm of possibility, even for most shops. But Baileigh's, Baileigh's line of equipment is affordable and it works. just like those machines. So they've really done well at filling in a gap in the metal shaping industry that really needed to be filled. So back in this direction, this is kind of where we have most of our fabrication tools. This is just typical grinders, cutters, etc. We have a Rotex punch, a corner notcher, a big dual bandsaw, an actual Pullmax. I think this is based in the 40s era, something like that. Then this is a Baileigh power hammer, and we really like this as opposed to our English wheels. As a matter of fact, the English wheels now moved kind of in the outskirts under the tent because we use this so much more now over the English wheel. It's just faster, quicker, it moves metal much better. So this kind of this area is kind of more of our sheet metal like section, and then in this room here we have it's a little bit mix of machining and sheet metal. So this is kind of, we call it the machine room, mills and lathes, you know, an old Bridgeport. We like vintage tools. So this is our Baileigh magnetic brakes. Like there's just no replacement for these. I mean, even the vintage finger brakes that we've used for a million years work, but these do so much more. And yeah, we cheated with ours a little bit, and instead of buying the 8-foot Baileigh brake, we bought 2 4-footers. Actually have a plate that bolts them together so we can run them as an 8-foot or as 4-footers. We literally love these machines. There's so much that you can do that you can't do with a normal brake. We've really kind of prioritized the most essential tools to get the job done. We don't have, since we are always limited on space in like Los Angeles, I think we have a really good you know, mix of anything we have. We can build just about anything without extra, you know, without too much extra. So this is kind of the basics of fabrication. Some of the most used, regularly used tools in the shop are, of course, shrinkers and stretchers. If you don't have a shrinker and stretcher, like that was probably one of the very first sheet metal fabrication tools I ever bought, was shrinker and stretcher. And always buy 2. So you have one set up for shrinking, one for stretching, so you can cross, because I know you can switch, but so yeah, that's also a pretty important piece. We've had various versions of this, but those are our Baileighs, and they have a fairly deep throat, which we like. Yeah. But that's actually, that's actually reality. I mean, you can look, our big English wheel is out here, because our Baileigh power hammer is in there, kind of takes the place. I mean, there's different things that they do, so you can't completely replace one with the other, but we find ourselves using the power hammer more. I talk about like the evolution of the process and my evolution of like tools and experience and skills and things like that. The Mulholland Speedster is a perfect example of kind of the culmination of that evolution. Because in the beginning, you know, first it's me just fixing cars. Then I've learned how to weld. Then I've learned how to do like patch panels, then chopping, and then customizing. So the whole thing evolves. What is the furthest extent of that evolution? It's like, hey, let's just build a car from nothing. So that's kind of where the Mulholland Speedster ended up. It's literally, we call it 80 to 90% coach built, because we started with drawings. Eric Black designed drawings that just getting the design took like 6 months to have the perfect car. Then we did start with and used quite a bit of original pieces, like we started with a real Packard grill, there's Packard hood pieces, there's a lot of stuff. We call that DNA. I like the idea of integrating real DNA into the car, so it's not just like one of these fully aluminum bodied things with an LS that's got no soul to me a little bit. I like that we integrate real parts. So from a metal shaping standpoint, it's a very complex shaped car, many compound curves. You know, we literally hand hammered and rolled and pressed and, you know, all shaped that entire thing from flat pieces of steel. And it was, I always talk about needing, from an artistic standpoint, the next challenge and the next challenge. And that challenge was pretty insurmountable, it seemed, when we started. And we couldn't be more proud of the result of literally creating a car from nearly nothing and shaping it by hand, just using from sheet metal and hand tools. Oh, and by the way, that car is built from 18 gauge steel. I think the fenders might be 20 gauge. So we actually shaped it out of steel, which is most people are doing aluminum or something like that. And the roof, the retractable roof, is aluminum. So just so for metal shapers, that's kind of what that ended up being, the parts that we used for that car. One thing that I've noticed over the maybe 10, 15 years is the effect of social media on metal fabrication and just the hot rod world and just in general. Baileigh is one of the companies that had come out pretty early with a strong social media, and by exposing people's skills and like from welding to metal shaping to whatever, again, Baileigh has a huge following. I feel like it's really increased people's interest in what we do, because I was afraid that we would be losing people with hand skills. Like, the younger generation, it's concerning that this idea of doing things with your hands was kind of going away. And with social media, people want to show off what they've done. There's like, hashtag like weld porn or metal porn, fab porn. It's just people are excited to show the world what they've done. And I think that's really increased the interest in what we do immensely. The ultimate goal of any artist, cars, video, fine art, drawing, whatever, it's never about money. It's about respecting your vision and respecting your creativity. And my biggest dream is for me to leave some kind of legacy that people will remember. Like, we have like the Mulholland Speedster, which is a car that's been a huge success. I want, 20, 30 years from now, just someone to find that in a barn or somewhere, like, that's the Mulholland Speedster. That was built by Hollywood Hot Rods back in, 2017. And as an artist and a creative person, that's the ultimate goal and like the ultimate compliment is just for people to care or recognize what you do, and then for that art to stand the test of time in some manner. Will Hollywood Hot Rods cars? I don't know. We'll see, but that's my biggest dream, is that would be my legacy, is for people to respect what we've done. And I use the word we, not me, but myself and my team and what we've done under Hollywood Hot Rods. What makes Shane from Baileigh's badass? I'm not familiar. Who's Shane? Do I know? Can you line? I don't think I know a Shane.
Have you ever met the Shane?
I don't know a Shane from Baileigh.